Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to US and his meeting with Donald Trump. Now, remember, just a couple of weeks into his administration, Donald Trump has extended this invite to Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and that, in fact, speaks volumes about the importance that US attaches with India and with the leadership of India. The excitement there is palpable. Let's take a look at some reactions coming in from the Indian diaspora.
I was so happy. मोदी जी ने इतने भीड़ में इतने देख के हमें पूछा कि अरे आप हमारे लिए इतना कष्ट क्यों उठा रहे हैं. That means a lot. I mean, मोदी जी इतना हमारे लिए कर रहे हैं. This is the least we could do. हमने 4 घंटे से एक पैर पे खड़े रह के तब किया है. मोदी जी को थैंक यू बोलने को. And once again, thank you मोदी जी.
And जब हमने कहा thank you मोदी जी for everything we do, he was thanking us instead for staying here in this cold. इतना अच्छा लगा उनसे मिलने. This kind of humility is so touching. It's so commendable.
मोदी जी को मिलके बहुत बहुत अच्छा लगा. इतना थके हुए थे तो भी ऐसा लगा कि ऐसे फ्रेश सबको मिलके बहुत वो खुश हुए खुद, और हमें भी बहुत खुशी हुई उससे मिलके. और ये धन्य हो गया. हम लोग सुबह से हम उसी के तैयारियों में थे.
So the Indian diaspora, they're of course extremely excited to catch a glimpse of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Let's tell you now about the Prime Minister's day. It's an action-packed day. Let's take you through the schedule and the back-to-back meetings that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has. Here are the details of what's lined up for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There's going to be a bilateral with President Trump, with Donald Trump. Apart from that, there's going to be a meeting with the top business leaders and an interaction with the Indian diaspora as well. What we're also given to understand is now we have a schedule in terms of who the Prime Minister is going to meet. At 9 p.m., the Prime Minister has a meeting with the NSA, Michael Waltz, and then the Prime Minister will have a one-on-one meet with Elon Musk. Another important meeting lined up is with Vivek Ramaswamy. So these are the important personalities with whom Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to have one-on-one meetings today. Let's now move on and go across to Jessica Stone, joining us on the broadcast from the White House. Jessica, thank you very much for speaking with us. How's the the environment and excitement over there? India, of course, is looking at this meeting very closely. A lot of expectations on what's going to be on agenda. How's US looking at it, and how is it being analyzed over there?
Well, I think we at Voice of America have just been able to identify what the schedule will be in the last few hours. It came together pretty last minute, most likely because the White House agreed to only part of the request on behalf of the Indian government of what meetings would take place. We initially thought the arrival of Prime Minister Modi would take place this morning. It's now going to take place in the late afternoon around 4 p.m. local time, and it's going to be followed by bilateral meetings and press statements. There will be a press conference with 2 questions on each side at about 5 p.m. local time, followed by dinner. So this is a very abbreviated session, but Prime Minister Modi is packing a lot in, as you mentioned, with multiple meetings in the morning. He's already also, of course, had meetings with the brand new sworn-in Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, who is a practicing Hindu, the first elected to Congress and the first to be part of a U.S. cabinet. That's a significant meeting. That was the first meeting that took place here in Washington. And now he goes on, of course, to meet with the leader of DOGE, which is a cost-cutting department being run by Tesla owner Elon Musk, who, of course, is part of many companies that India is also doing business with. And we
Jessica, just to bring in another point, how is America looking at some of the decisions that have been most talked about as far as the Trump administration 2.0 is concerned? What is the sense on ground in terms of tariffs and the deportations that have happened?
Well, those are 2 separate questions, really. I mean, the American public, I think, is somewhat reeling by the pace that the White House has begun with all of these executive orders, cost-cutting measures. It's been fast and furious since the president took office on January 20th. With respect to the U.S.-India relationship and what you mentioned with tariffs and immigration policy, that too has been, of course, at the forefront of the Trump administration policy. And he has telegraphed that he is going to announce reciprocal tariffs today, which, of course, could impact the U.S.-India trade relationship. India being the 10th largest trading partner for the United States, but the singular largest trading partner the U.S. is the singular largest trading partner for the nation of India. And a lot of products that Americans rely on are going to be impacted if reciprocal tariffs go into place, from pharmaceuticals to gems to electronics to nuclear reactors.
Thank you, Jessica, for putting things into context. We'll connect with you again. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast. Moving on now, let's play out some reactions that we're getting. This one is coming in from singer Mary Milben on Prime Minister Narendra Modi visiting U.S.
I'm looking forward to hearing what the President and the Prime Minister have to say tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing what their agenda will be in the context of strengthening the relationship. And certainly, India is an important partner. It's our most important democratic partner. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what the President and the Prime Minister desire to do together to make the world a better place. That's what we're all here for, right? Is to make the world a better place. And we are certainly facing some challenges across the world. And India plays a very significant and key part in mitigating some of these challenges that we're facing. And so it'll be an exciting day tomorrow.
Now let's take a look at why this visit really matters, what's on agenda, and what are the issues that could be discussed and talked about. This is the defense and energy cooperation arena. Discussions are expected to take place on the issue of nuclear energy, and India, of course, is eyeing increased defense procurement. So that's going to be on agenda. Apart from that, the China factor, extremely important. The focus is going to be on counterbalance in the Indo-Pacific area. If you talk about trade and tariff, then Trump is looking at reciprocal tariffs as something that India and the domestic politics happening in India, the leaders here want the Prime Minister to raise. India reduced tariff on key U.S. imports. If you talk about immigration, then 100+ illegal Indian immigrants have been deported. Many are expecting the Prime Minister to raise that issue as well. India could advocate for higher H-1B visa count. So this is what is going to be perhaps an agenda and will come up during the bilaterals and the other important meetings that are scheduled. All right, we are moving on now. We have some breaking inputs coming in on the broadcast. This is what we're given to understand. Two major defense deals for the Javelin anti-tank missile and the Stryker armored vehicle will be announced during Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Washington. And both these deals have been under discussion for a while, and Make in India or Atmanirbharta will be an integral part of the deals. Both weapons are for the army. At the moment, it's not clear whether the P-8I deal for 6 Reiki aircrafts for the Navy is ready to be announced or not. Let's go across to Srinjoy Chaudhary joining us on the broadcast with more details on the two big deals that we are talking about here. Srinjoy, if you could throw more light.
Yes, this is breaking news, really. And two deals are going to be announced is what we are hearing. First, the Javelin. It's an anti-tank missile manufactured by Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, and India will manufacture it. An Indian partner will be found, and India will manufacture it for the army in India, which makes it part of the Atmanirbharta focus. The second thing, as you rightly said, is the Stryker. The Stryker is an armored vehicle also for the army. The army has been talking about it. The Americans have been talking about it even more. The point here that has to be noted is that once again, it will be part of the Atmanirbharta ambit. The Stryker is manufactured by General Dynamics. General Dynamics will find a partner, an Indian partner, and it will be made in India. So in this case, both weapons are American, but they will be made in India.
Right.
So they fit in with the Atmanirbharta focus. One other point, Swati, the P-8I. Now, India has already purchased 12 P-8I reconnaissance planes for the Navy. On the AON, it was 18 planes. So there is a requirement of 6 more planes.
Right.
Now, whether this will happen or not, we don't know. But there has been some talk about it.
All
but
right,
as
Srinjoy,
far
in
as
fact,
the
stay on with us. Let's quickly go across to Madhav, who's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Trade, tariff, defense cooperation, defense deals, deportation. There are a lot of important issues that, of course, everybody is monitoring very, very closely on when and how they come up during the bilaterals and other key meetings of Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Well, absolutely. And in fact, it's going to be a packed day for the Prime Minister while he has a series of meetings with several leaders, in fact, business leaders as well, in the first half of the day. In the second half of the day is when he will actually be going to White House for the more ceremonial part, or the official part of this entire trip. And of course, that's going to culminate in a dinner at the White House with President Trump will be hosting for Prime Minister Modi. Of course, as you rightly put it, there's a whole lot on the plate. Remember the fact that it's not just issues such as trade, issues such as deportation, which are of course very, very vital for their own domestic constituencies for the two leaders, whether it's we're talking about President Trump or Prime Minister Modi, but a whole lot of other issues. As Srinja was mentioning, a number of military procurements, military hardware requirements of India, and also the United States would like to see that India in fact purchases more and more of the military hardware that's made in the United States. Of course, Make in India, another very important aspect, the transfer of technology, a very important aspect, and that's something that we've seen has been the reason for many such deals that have taken a long time to actually see fruition. And this time around, whether there can be, more of that movement on that front is a very, very big question. But one thing is very clear, the way that we are looking at this, remember that it is the first bilateral meeting between the top leaders in Trump 2.0. Whether or not there are any big bang announcements, big ticket announcements, the fact is that it is a moment for the two leaders to meet, to reconnect again and hit that reset button and shake hands for the next 4 years of the Trump administration, because it's not just about, all of these particular issues where, which directly connect India and the United States. The two leaders also do speak when there are big world events. It's important to actually get that, communication going, get the momentum going, and that's really what this entire meeting is all about. So no clarity in terms of what exactly will be the big announcements, but yes, a lot really that is at stake today, and of course we'll be bringing you all those updates from the White House right here in Washington DC.
All right, Madhav, thank you very much for getting us the details. Of course, we'll keep connecting with you throughout the day for the top developments from US.